All right, another trip to the north side. I'm gonna use a different camera. Hopefully this will pick up my audio a little bit better. I'm not really sure, but you know, I got a different camera right now because as y'all know, my Apple Mac is having some issues. So I wanted to give y'all some footage of the north side. Let me try to pull over and see what I can give y'all. I don't think that's gonna work. The way that this camera, see, I need a GoPro. I'm gonna have to really invest in like a car camera, because I gave a poll to you guys the other day, and I was talking about whether or not do y'all like my car stories or do you like the stories I do at home. I got off to a late start today. I really don't like doing that because it kind of starts shortening all my little edit time that I could just do my thing by myself. Got my morning mud. So let's see how the coffee treats me. So don't mind this. We'll get that figured out. I know it's kind of I might even have to edit the video and then take that out. I might put an image in front of this so y'all don't see that. So you ain't get no janky, you know, you just get to see my face and whatever. So the data science part, there's a lot of traffic out today, man. A lot of traffic. So the data science part that I was speaking to, there was a guy named Saeed. He did a dissertation. I think he's a PhD. Now, I'm not heavy into the titles all the time and stuff like that. However, you know what? I'm gonna take this all the way to 35. I think I'm gonna take the Lowry Bridge all the way over. It's a beautiful bridge. They did a great job. So, his name was Saeed Mustafid, or I can't remember his last name, but he did an entire paper on white crisis, and I think I might actually make an analysis of that. He already kind of analyzed it, so you know, I seen from what I understand, and I'm quite sure he might have, if not at least based his argument, at least heard about our great late man, these cars is crazy on Lowry right now. I'm almost thinking about going a different way, but our late great elder, our legendary elder, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. I think that it's possible, based upon his wordplay, the way he was breaking stuff down, I think that it's possible that he might have rocked out with her and got some game. Because the way that he wrote this paper, you know, he was basically talking about how he was using the terms white colonization. It's called white crisis. So basically, he was looking at, and I think he was a data science guy, I'm not sure, but transhumanism and data science go hand in hand. It's literally, you can't have a pizza without cheese for it to be a real pizza. Well, I want a New York pizza with no cheese. No, you ain't gonna have it. You're gonna have to have your New York pizza with some cheese for it to be a New York slice. And so he was basically talking about how transhumanism and white supremacy was hand in hand. How you gonna get over here? They parked. All right, this is gonna be a little weird. I think I'm gonna bust it right here and try to see if I can, because I'm not liking how this is looking. And I'll come back down on Lowry if need be. Or I'll just bust a left here, get a good view of downtown Minneapolis. So maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do that. Let me see if I can bust a left here, and then, because I want to stay down 35, grab me something to eat. I'm not exactly sure where I want to go, but I need to get something in my system. Alright. Man, I wish y'all could get this damn footage. Nothing real spectacular over Northeast. I'm gonna be honest. It ain't really nothing, you know, out of the way. You know, me personally, I wouldn't really. Some people like staying over here because it's close to downtown. It's close to where the action is. So, okay, now we back on. Let me see. Oh. This lady would pay attention. She's looking out the back seat. That's how accidents happen. Folks not paying no mind. Alright, so I could take this all the way. Alright, so look. He wrote a paper, and I believe it might have been his thesis or his dissertation for his PhD on transhumanism, which is eugenics. And I was kind of thinking about data science in that regard. My point was, my second book, I talked about how, I know y'all like, damn, all these interruptions. I talked about how there was a brother, because I wanted to keep my book black as possible. That's what I was trying to do. I was trying to keep the book black as possible. So in doing that, I was trying to hire as many people as I could. I was trying to hire as many people as I could that was black. So the first thing I did, of course, I was looking for an editor once I got everything where I wanted it to be. And the first brother that did my book, my first book, it was a brother from Dallas. Then the second book, I found a sister from South Carolina. And I think I was telling y'all as to the reason why I picked her. The first two people I was gonna have do my book, I thought they were from the US. They was from Nigeria. Now I knew that they were Nigerian when I first saw them. Far as on Fever, wherever I got them, I think it was Fever, not Upwork. It might have been Upwork. It probably was Upwork, because that's what I use for editors and stuff. But they kept lying and scamming about the times and all this, and they kept lying so damn much. I said, all right, I gotta find somebody that's really, really from the USA. And the sister, when she said she was from South Carolina, that did it. We didn't have to have no discussions about culture or understanding nothing. I knew she was from my lineage. She was like, you know, and I said, well, because at first I was gonna give them other two brothers a chance. It was a brother and a sister. But they kept lying too damn much. They kept saying they was in the States, and I found out that they wasn't. And I'm like, okay, if we gonna do business and we gonna be honest, we can't be lying and scamming. We can't be doing that right off the rip. So I almost signed a contract with one of them, and I was gonna give them the money, and I was gonna give them some money up front. But they kept lying too damn much, man. And I was like, okay, we can't do that. We gonna have to have some honesty in this here. So I found a Nigerian brother to do some data visualization. He was like a data scientist. He was majoring in somewhere, I think it's South Africa or something. I don't know. What's going on here? Oh, that's for tattoos, or I don't know what they're doing. Maybe that's like a shake place. But so this brother did some real good work. And what I was trying to do, I wanted him to gather some information. Oh, hell, yeah. I knew I should have did something else. There's a big detour on Laurie. Yeah, the whole Laurie is messed up. Laurie and Central. So there's a big ass detour. So that ain't good. Let me see what I could do here. Alright, I'm just gonna rock out this way. Sometimes Central, I spent a lot of time on Central because I used to get my car fixed in Columbia Heights, and I was working on my old school. I used to go to Holy Land. Holy Land, they lost a lot of credibility in the city because what they was doing is they was talking against foundationals, and the city pretty much stopped rocking with them. So they had to apologize and do all of this kind of stuff here, and you know, so you know, a lot of people didn't they wasn't really rocking with them too much, so they had to kind of gain their credibility back. And you know, that's a thing. You know, you have these little hidden little And a lot of black folks used to go to Holy Land. It'd be a lot of black Muslims more so, but everybody used to go. White, black, everybody used to go to Holy Land on Central. I used to go there faithfully on my first contract, starting out in 2008. I used to go to Holy Land, if not every day, every other day. So they got something cracking in the news. They said something real slick, and the owner had to check his daughter. It was his daughter that was down there. So you got all these black folks spending all this damn money, and his daughter said something slick about black folk. I think it was during the George Floyd, the lynching, or it was around that time within the last maybe 4 to 5 years. The city said they lost a lot of money, man. I think they lost contracts and everything. So, yeah, you speak against black folks, you see your money gonna start drying up. Yeah, you speak against black folks and it's not gonna work out for you. That's historically correct. That's been happening a lot. Folks done lost their bag. Because we're consumers. So, but anyway, I had the brother write me some data visualization. He did a good job. I wanted him to try to see if he could find out information about organ harvesting. I made the case that, well, the question, you probably ain't gonna really be able to find much of this out, but the technology does exist. Something about where you could do uterus transplants. And I started thinking, they keep saying that all these black women is being kidnapped. Could there be a link? Do I have my tinfoil hat on, or could there be a link? And I was wondering, if all these black women are being abducted, could it be more than just regular sex trafficking? And it seemed like it was the same numbers, or around the same numbers each year. And so when I was looking at some of these stats, I said, why would this many people be abducted this year, every single year? Why would that be a thing? You know what I'm saying? I found that very strange. And so when I was kind of looking into transhumanism, and they were talking about, there was a lot of organ harvesting cases I was looking at, and I'm like, is it a possibility that black people specifically, black people in general, black women can be abducted for organ harvesting? We now know that there has been children found on the shores of some of these Arab countries, and we found facts of these folks enslaving black folks in different places. I think it was Somalian kids and all different kinds of African kids, that they'd be kidnapping these kids and using their organs. There's an actual organ trafficking thing going on where they would actually be unaliving these kids. You find these kids on the beach with their bodies sewed up. This ain't conspiracy theory. This is something that they've been actively been investigating over there. And so it makes me wonder, well, if they could do that over there, what's stopping them from doing something like that over here? Now, I know we're getting to the Jordan Peele Get Out stuff, but it's kind of like, well, I wonder. There's been some reports coming out the south side of Chicago several times with, come on, man, with black women getting kidnapped, thrown in vans. And I'm just wondering, I said, is there any correlation to, okay, there's sex trafficking, but is there could it be some organ harvesting going on? You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of weird studies. You've seen the book Medical Apartheid, which I based my second book off. I wanted it something to be informative like that, but I just thought that was strange. So I put him to task for it. I knew he wasn't going to be able to find too much information, but, I wanted to hire a brother. You know what I'm saying? So I hired him. I paid him what he asked for. And he made, some visualizations for me. But what I wanted him to really be able to get is I try to find some data, but he needed data points. That's the thing about data science. You got to look at the data points. You got to look at what stats and what somebody's given. You don't just make up a bunch of stuff and just say, well, here's the presentation. The visualization is only going to come off of what information you found. But, I gave a crack at it because I was just kind of wondering, you know. But there's not a lot of real studies. And if I start quoting this saying, well, yeah, that's what they're doing to black women, the first thing somebody's gonna come up with is, okay, prove it. Prove it. Okay, you ain't got no proof, Mr. Pearson, you lying. You're just speculating at this point. So, but I still at this time pose that question. Could there be a link? Is there any correlation to, I think they call it ectogenesis, organ transplant specifically with the uterus? And you got to ask the question, who has the money to be able to buy that? You know what I'm saying? Is there any link between organ harvesting, black folks, and this eugenics, transhumanism? They've always tested eugenics on black folk. So, damn, I'm supposed to be in the other lane. Damn it. I don't know. So, I'm going to see if I really needed to be over there. So I wonder if I could just bust a left right here and just pull in. I think that's what I'm going to do. Damn, he's coming in too fast. Yeah, I'm not about to. Yeah, I ain't about to get myself in an accident just trying to be on some me first stuff. So that's something, you know, and, you know, transhumanism, data science, all of that information technology is that's all information, because that's what people pay for. When I was working, I was doing some stuff for Splunk, and or not for Splunk, I was doing something for a bank at one point in time, and doing working with APIs. And when I was working with these APIs, they were based on errors and transactions. Splunk is a huge data mining application that I employ any of you, because I've said this several different times, that you should download Postman and Insomnia and just play around with it. I got an entire chapter in my book about Insomnia. Was it Insomnia or was it Postman? I think it was Postman. Insomnia does pretty much the same thing. And what you're doing is you're working with APIs and learning how to make quote unquote calls. Once you make these calls, it's going to give you back information. You're also going to learn something about security, because banks have to use the public key infrastructure interface. Basically, I'm going to give you a key. You got a public key, you got a private key. I'm going to give you a key to open up this door. You keep the private key. You don't give that to anybody. You that don't go on the internet. But I want you to open this other door and pass information. So here's the private key, or not the private key, the public key. The public key. The public key is for the public. The private key is internal. So, I'm trying to record and pay attention here. So yeah, you know, when that brother did the visualization, I wanted a little bit more information, but there was only so much I could give him. I couldn't give him a whole lot of information because I didn't have it. So I gave him what I could. So, you know, another reason why I spent so much time on that second book is because I wanted to cover every aspect. And, you know, when I had the sister edit it, she was the one that took the book to the new level. Good sister from South Carolina. She was the one that took the book to the new level. She didn't form no opinions. She didn't get up there and start editing it and telling me, oh, I want you to do this and do that, and oh, this is offensive to me, and all this old cap. She didn't do any of that. I said, I want this written word for word, and I just want you to make it look good. I said, now, if there's anything that you think should be a part of this, or there's something that you think that just shouldn't be there, because remember, there was chapters, y'all, there was some deep stuff I was getting into And I had tons of receipts. I mean, just a goulash, a gumbo, a Louisiana, New Orleans gumbo of receipts that I really couldn't put in because the book was getting too big. Google couldn't handle it. You know, Google was not able to handle it. So I couldn't put it in. So I had to sacrifice. I said, man, what chapters do I think they really, it was some chapters, man, that you know, you know what, I could probably email her and ask her, what were those chapters? And maybe, because my homie was telling me, like, man, you should write a short version of really how to get into the IT industry 1, 2, 3. Well, that stuff is kind of changing now. I might mess around and use Brother Chat. I don't know. But the thing about this is, okay, hold on, let's let them come in. He's not merging, right? So I'm at to speed up. Sometimes you got to do that in life, man. Just make a decision. Because somebody else, they don't know what they pedal footing and everything, and they don't know what they want to do. And so I'm going to slow down for him. I hope he speeds up. Come on, dude. Jeez. That's the thing about being in the slow lane. So let me speed up for him. I probably got to get out this lane. So yeah, she wrote it. Okay, yeah, I got to get out of this lane because I'm not able to get nowhere. Yep, I got to go into the fast lane because all it's gonna do is be people getting on and getting off. Yep. Okay, so yeah, she had free creative control to make suggestions. Hey, take this out, take that out. She really put the punctuation and made it sound like what it was supposed to be doing. At the same time, keeping the essence and the spirit of my word. You see? And she was the one that broke the history and the context. The only thing that people really could actually look at, there's certain aspects when it comes to black history in the Americas. There's some scrutiny that people can use in terms of that. But we're finding out a lot of shit about that right now. And some people are saying, well, that's not true or whatever. And I'm like, okay, are all these scientists making it up? You know, now, that is open to some interpretation and further study. But now, everything else, that's why I brought the scholarly articles to say, well, this is a piece of technology and this is what's related to this. You see what I'm saying? And she did a real good job and she used this term called the anecdotes. I didn't do that. That wasn't me. I'm not taking credit for that. She broke the book down in 3 pieces. You see what I'm saying? And so, you know, when I was giving it I always do a test run with some of my homies because, like I said, I didn't market this book like the first one. The first one is still my bestseller. And maybe because it's smaller, that's probably one, and it's a lot of information for the second one. So, I think that, you know, because I didn't really market the second one that much and didn't really get it out there to where I wanted it to be, you know, because I was dealing with other things. And now I'm working on some other stuff. For those that know, y'all know, don't spill the beans. But I'm working on some other stuff too. I'm working on some real good stuff. But now, that second book was really getting into details, maybe had a little bit more opinions, but then it had a whole lot more articles as to how we got in this situation and how we got into tech, how it's affecting us. and things of that nature. So I call that like the dark ages. You see what I'm saying? Boy, these stuff is really, maybe this is not a good idea. Yeah, I think I should have been in a different lane. I think I'm about to get off up here. Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna get off pretty soon. 36 is not the best. It's not that fast. It's pretty slow. You got a lot of boats and stuff like that on there. You know, it's a small. 36 is a pretty small freeway. It's 2 lanes. It's not. You know, it's very small. It reminds me of 120 and Division. That's what it reminds me of, if you ask me. If you want to be honest. But yeah, y'all, I spent over 2+ years working on that book. And in terms of the reception, I think more people got the second one, or not the second one, the first one. The more people got the first one because it's an easier read and it's heavily promoted. The black media did an excellent job promoting that and running that for me. I sold my most books. I sold a lot of books, man. Now, if I would have had even a bigger media push, you know, but that I got the people that understand what I'm trying to say. Now, the second book was a lot more brutally honest. That was a more of a jugular. That's why I say it's a darker book. And you know, it's not as a deterrent, but it's kind of like, okay, now you're going into the encyclopedia. So I always do a test run, and I gave people the book. You know, everybody that I gave it to, for the most part, gave it a thumbs up. Like, hey man, I ain't never seen nothing like this before. Like my homie, one of my homies called it something. He called it an IT manifesto. I said, man, that's pretty damn deep. He likened it to an IT manifesto. He said this shit is like a black IT Britannica. And I wanted it to be a IT tech book / a damn near black history book almost. You see what I'm saying? So I think I was able to do it. So, you know, a lot of times, like I forget a lot of different things that I did. And when I look back and look at it, I'm like, damn, I sure wish I would have had some shit like this. I really wish I would have had all these different things and this technology you could use and how to decode a resume and all of this kind of stuff like that. So yeah, man, I thought that was pretty notable when he used that term. I said, I didn't use that term, but you know, he used that term, and I thought that was pretty interesting. So, but yeah, we'll go ahead and close this out and stuff. I think I'm running out of time. When you driving, man, I'm trying to pay attention to the road and whatnot. But yeah, that data science project, that brother, I'm gonna see if I can get that brother on an interview. I'm gonna see if I can pay that brother on an interview so he could talk, and he could give his idea of black folks and technology and where he's at, because he's over in Africa. I think that brother was from Nigeria, and he was in South Africa. So he does real big data science stuff. Like, that brother has done some major reports. I'm gonna post some of his work in this edit, because this edit's not gonna come down from my phone. I'm going to take this off of another phone and then load it up and do all kind of different stuff that I need to do. And then y'all will get this interview or this story time. So I'll see y'all in a minute. I'm gonna go ahead and close out on this, and we'll see how the audio sits. I may have to raise it up so you might hear some background noise.